of owning a cafe and other heroic deeds by Beware the Tristero, Chapter 137. The Wedding, Part 3. After placing a kiss to his sleeping partner's forehead, his thumb gently brushing away a few muffin crumbs that were on his pillow, Shouta smiled, got up, and walked to the sweet's door. He was willing to bet that everyone else, even the kids, despite how energetic they'd been, were all still fast asleep. However, just to make sure that everyone was all right, he quietly tiptoed around their rooms, discreetly listening to various snores and sleepy mutterings as he went before gently opening the door to where his wards were sleeping. Just as he thought, they were snoozing away, their bodies sprawled out peacefully across their futons as the sun partially streamed through the semi-closed blinds to dance across the wide tatami mat-covered floor, sprinkled with manga, socks, phones, earphones, and drawings. And all around them, plates scattered with muffin crumbs, dishes lying like ceramic halos around their sleepy heads. He could tell that they were sleeping calmly, peacefully, as they should be. Such good kids. Then after one last glance, he left the room and closed the door behind him. It was nice to have everyone together. It was better still to know that Nezu and Gran Torino would be here in a few hours with Takuda, their wedding party complete save for a few of the cafe community members who would get to watch everything on a private live stream Hisashi had somehow made for them. But not everyone could theoretically watch that either, could they? Shinzo Kimiko, plus the men and women who'd brought him and his lover into the world, were sadly missing, weren't they? He wondered idly whilst walking down the quiet corridors, his head inclining politely at the few members of staff milling around, what his parents would think about how far he'd come, about the life he'd carved out for himself. Would they be happy? Would they be proud? Would they wish him well? Some days, when he tried to think about them, they were hard to picture, thanks to his wonderful community. He had that wonderful photo frame crafted by Naoki's quirk and lovingly filled with images of them all, a rare photograph of him and his parents at its center, of course. But the finer details escaped him. He hoped that they would be pleased. He hoped if there was such a thing as an afterlife, that they'd be watching his marriage today with smiles on their faces. Whenever did he get so sentimental about such things? Meeting everyone for breakfast was wonderful. Papa, good morning.
Thank you for the muffins, kiddo.
Yes, thank you. Oh, and come sit with us. We got you some tamagoyaki and miso. They're almost as good as yours.
Juggling his hand waving at his soon-to-be husband, the eatery owner padded over to where the children had gathered at the smaller table in the same banquet hall they'd be using throughout their stay.
Oh, you smell like cake.
Shh. I was about to be surprised that he could.
Whoa, sorry.
That's quite all right.
He juggled his freshly washed hand, ruffling through the other's mustard locks, the child preening at the attention.
So, what would you guys like to do this morning? I think that we'll be finished eating by 8 o'clock, and since your parents are all looking forward to getting pampered in the spa, I thought it'd be fun if we went to the beach.
He offered whilst tucking into his breakfast.
Aren't you and Toshiji meant to be doing, I don't know, icky, yucky, lovey-dovey stuff today? Good, John!
Aw, you don't think that such things are yucky, do you, Kutsuki-kun?
Actually, why are you leaning in and looking at me like that?
Chuckling, Shouta reminded himself to ask Natsuo and Mirio for copies of the video or photos they were taking, as the explosive blonde blushed and desperately tried to backtrack, whilst Izuku, Ochako, Nato, and the youngest Kaminari of their party fawned over him as Hitoshi, Tamaki, Fuyumi, Melissa, and Tsuyu giggled and continued to eat. God, he couldn't handle the thought of them all growing up and becoming interested in romance and dating. Not because he didn't love them and cherish the idea of them finding future happiness with each other or others, but because he enjoyed seeing them together as friends, all of them balancing each other out as only children could. Even Shoto seemed to be getting in on the antics, and that was worth the world, wasn't it?
Okay, all right.
He called his job as officially unofficial referee of their group's lively debates taking center stage.
For your information, we'll be doing lovey-dovey stuff for the rest of our lives. But that doesn't mean that Toshinori and I don't want to do other things or have fun with you guys.
He told them fondly.
So, would you like to come to the beach with me? We'll be going hiking tomorrow after all, and I'd hate to ruin whatever my husband has planned for us by rooting around the forests without him.
He mused before taking another bite of his omelet.
I'd love to go to the beach with you, Shoni. My turn.
Let's have a sandcastle building competition.
I've never swam in the ocean before. Oh, can we rent snorkels from reception, please?
I'm gonna look for shells, Skittle.
I'll come with you. Then we can make jewelry out of them if Mimi Batchan will give us some of her knitting stuff. Smiling at them all fondly and assenting to their wishes, Shouta sent a message on their adult-based messaging group chat and smiled when the parents all consented to the morning trip he had planned. David, Spinner, Oboro, Hizashi, his care center siblings, Chizome, Jin, and Keigo would be joining them. Toshinori and Mirai would be heading to the airport soon so they could collect their friends and the photographer, but had promised to join them afterwards. Atsuhiro, the police officers, mothers, female pros, and fathers, however, were going to join Mimi and her wonderful friends in various spa treatments, grooming sessions, and the overall pampering services that this onsen provided so that they could look their best for the wedding. He too had surrendered himself to the fact that his lover wanted to give him a private massage later before they enjoyed themselves in the private onsen too. Of course, honeymoons, even short ones in the first instance, were meant to be enjoyed, weren't they? Walking down a virtually deserted road, all of them dabbed in appropriate beachwear and sunscreen, Shouta couldn't keep the smile from his face.
The sun feels great, Niece Chichan. That's amazing, Spinner Knee. You'll come snorkeling with us, won't you, Skittle?
Being out in the sunshine, the heat here nowhere near as oppressive as it was in Mustatafu's urban sprawl, was wonderful.
Toshi-kun, do you mind holding my bucket and spade for a sec? My flip-flops are flipping out again.
I told you that they were too big for you, Izu-kun.
No, they're fine, see?
You're just wearing them because they have Toshiji's face on them, aren't you?
What? No, I'm not. They're just super comfy, that's all, I swear.
They'd seen a few locals and with so few cars on the road, he felt more than happy to allow the kids to trot about as they pleased.
Nathan, those sunglasses look great on you, you know?
Oh, you think so? Thank you, Taco-chan. I know you can try them on if you like.
Especially as the beach came into view. The water looked incredibly inviting, there was a lifeguard station, and no one else seemed to be lounging upon the golden sands. You shouldn't want to have the place just for them, but...
Oh, yeah! I'm gonna get my surf on!
Izashi-san, I don't think the waves are really big enough.
That's why we are bodyboards, yo!
You did.
Yahoo! Let's one in the rotten egg. The gal setting a bad example.
Woo! Come on, Tata-chan, we can beat him.
Oh, but no! Wah!
Snickering, his eyes tracking his care center siblings and the antics, Shouta moved to follow Keigo as they set up the umbrellas and moved the hampers under their shade with the help of David, Jin, and Chizome.
Don't go swimming out too far.
Shuni, are you coming?
I'll be right there. Watch out for sea Uyghurs, okay?
See what?
Such good times! As 12 o'clock rolled along, the group packed up their towels, spades, buckets, swimming aids, and inflatable toys to bid farewell to the numerous castles, sculptures, and holes they'd made.
Listen, John, how many shells did you find, eh?
12 really good ones. What about you, Danky-kun?
A solid 10-minute breaks, cracks, or nothing.
Thanks to Oboro, none of them needed to worry about sunburn or heating up too much on the way back, as he very kindly created a bunch of nimbuses to float above and shade them, whilst Keigo's fierce wings carried the majority of their belongings.
Oi, Seiji-kun, look what I have. Now, get that seaweed away from me. Oh, it's so slimy and it's gonna get you. Don't worry, babe. I'll protect you.
Yay! Present Mike to the rescue!
Watching the kids dance, skip, and scurry along, Shouta knew that this had been the best start to their day.
It's a shame that Toshinori-senpai couldn't make it. Are you sure everything's okay?
Blinking out of his thoughts, he looked to Jin and smiled.
He's just texted me as it happens.
He comforted happily.
The flight was delayed, that's all. What are you willing to bet me? The Gran Torino-san definitely grumbled all the way to the hotel.
That's a sucker's bet.
I'll take it.
Chuckling, his right hand reaching out to ruffle the slightly younger man's hair, the eatery owner similarly smiled at Chizome, his tall form leisurely walking at his partner's other side. He was glad that they had found love and understanding together, their shared despair of a world that they'd struggled to navigate, helping them to find purpose in comforting and soothing their conjoined fears as they made friends, built their sense of self-worth, and became pros. Pros who were still very much an integral part of his cafe, just as Tomoko was. The three of them, even when he'd told them that there to be no hard feelings on his part if they felt their actual careers needed to take precedence, couldn't be happier to be with and serve their community either. Good honest work, the blood quirk user had once told him, is just what I need to keep me grounded. I spent so much of my life being angry and disillusioned that I had forgotten that other people were suffering, that other people were worse off. And you know what, show boss? Chatting with the middle schoolers and salary workers, it makes me grateful. It makes me proud to know I've made their lives just a little better with good food and drink. I could have gone a different way. I'd looked into the whole vigilante thing. I'd even picked out a name, Stendhal, because I didn't realize that such simple things could make such a big difference. That's what you figured out too, right? You really know what you're doing, don't you? If only that was true. Trying to repress a yawn behind her oversized paw glove, Soseki Shino stared at the monitors overseeing the 41 incredibly dangerous, deviant, deranged, and destructive people that the Japanese government had seen fit to throw into a veritable pit and throw away the key. Mandalay, would you like some more coffee? Pixie Bob, your lifesaver, thank you. Not that she minded these shifts at Tartarus. The pay was good, the work was relatively simple, and thanks to the automated systems and advanced AI overseeing the prisoners on a cellular level, it wasn't as dangerous as people made it out to be. So, why aren't you taking me to that cute little cafe you've been raving about again? It's closed until Tuesday, but after our next shift on Tuesday, I promise to treat you, all right? Oh, and you can meet Ragnar and Midnight then, too. I think if we approach them the right way, we can definitely form a search and rescue agency up in the mountains, and with the combination of our quirks, I'm sure we can apply for a grant straight from the Hero Commission, too. Plus, lounging around a small office with its own little kitchenette had its perks, especially since Aizawa-san had sent the prison's employees a big gift basket of goodies to enjoy. Goodies that she'd been able to snatch a handful or two of and store in the tiny fridge under the percolator station her dear friend was diligently pouring their caffeine from. I've tried my best not to get my hopes up about it, but since there have been so many sexual assaults up around there, having someone with Midnight Senpai's power would be incredibly helpful in detaining the attackers. Plus, I hear she really knows how to use that whip of hers, you know. Ryuko-chan! She gasped out through a giggle as the blonde winked at her from across the dull-top floor.
You're a minx, you know that?
What I do? She chuckled whilst walking over to her, 2 mugs in hand. But on a more serious note, do you think that we need to be a little more worried about Shigaraki's staring? Blinking, her own eyes slinking to one of the 5 monitors fixed on the number 1 villain they housed, Shino sighed. I've reported it to the higher-ups, and they say that the scanners aren't reporting anything unusual, and he does this a lot, apparently, she murmured, a shudder running through her as those glinting eyes continued to stare into the camera he'd picked. It was like he was looking right at them, wasn't it? But no. She was just being paranoid, she was sure.